Where you at? Where you at?
What's up, good people? Thank you for clicking play on another episode of Big Man Tiny Kingdom. Right now, I'm sipping on some homemade juice with blueberries, celery, grapes, and beets. Sounds not that appealing, but the taste is not bad at all. You have to really like beets because it is definitely overbearing, but they are supposedly good for your blood and help with inflammation. And I need to take in everything that is good for that right about now because my body is hurting. I made some new friends at a recent camping trip. We clicked right away, and their approach and introduction to me was clever. The husband, whose name I learned a little later was Jim, said these first words to me. You know, I don't see many black people when we go camping. Internally, I was wondering, was this white gentleman, my elder, going to mess up and make things uncomfortable for me my first of 3 days at these campgrounds? He continues on about how they've traveled all over the country in their RV, have met tons of people, but very few of them were black. His wife, Lynn, standing next to him, shook her head in agreement. I thought to myself, well, maybe these are the type of people that don't travel to where black folks who do camp spend their outdoor vacations. Because I'm a part of an African-American Facebook group with 7,500 plus members, surely they would have had to encounter more than a few of us if they've traveled and camped all over the country. Next, Mr. Jim says, but when we do see black people camping, they always look just like you do right now. So I asked him, how is that? He says, they are some of the most happiest people I've ever met. You're glowing right now. You're smiling. You must be enjoying your vacation. And you know what? He was absolutely correct. I was happy. Being outdoors always makes me happy. Camping makes me happy. Being by water especially makes me happy. And on that particular trip, I got to endure all of those elements to the fullest. Mrs. Lynn then asked me, why is it that there are not a lot of African Americans camping? I couldn't give her an educated answer, but my 2 cents response was based off of personal conversations. Black folks make too many excuses. Thinking back to that conversation I had with the Neals, who were a pleasure to spend a nice chunk of time with and who gave me a tour of their RV, and then we sat outside and I soaked up their travel adventure stories. We talked about our careers. We debated about our differences surrounding police brutality and politics and the U.S.'s financial economy, and we still liked each other after. But back to our conversation about black people and camping, they listened to me share with them about how I've invited black people I know to come out camping, and I've gotten a lot of these excuses in return.
It is too hot.
Now, I do live in Arizona, so there's some truth to that, but it doesn't stop me from getting outdoors.
I couldn't deal with all the bugs.
I agree with that. I absolutely dislike everything about the bugs and insects and other critters. However, I take the necessary precautions and endure it the best that I can.
There's wild animals.
What I just said about the bugs applies to this as well. I'm not going to let that stop me. We probably thinking about them more than they concerned about us.
I ain't sleeping on the ground.
Guess what? You don't have to. I don't. I never have. I don't think I ever will. I probably wouldn't be comfortable sleeping on the ground. But there's a camping setup for everyone.
There's no bathrooms?
Not true. There's public bathrooms and there's other solutions.
There's no electricity.
Again, not true. What else you got?
There's no internet.
Most everywhere I've camped, I've had a connection. But seriously, you got nature's free entertainment surrounding you and you thinking about Instagram? There's plenty of more of excuses, but I could be all day with that. I could also be all day with my rebuttal to it. Now let's review some stats. And because I'm quoting numbers, if you're into looking up things, I've included the sources I'm using in the show notes. I thought it'd be fair to look at year 2019 stats since, as we know, the pandemic slowed us all down in some way in 2020 and even this current year. 79 million households camped at least once in 2019. Black Americans account for roughly 17% of the U.S. population, which equals about 48 million of the 331 million total people in America. Now, when you dig deeper into camping numbers, only 9% of the Black American population have said they've camped at least once ever. Whereas with white Americans, that number is 78%, and Hispanic Americans are a little bit more, not much, than African American, but they are at 11%. I searched, but could not find anything that estimated how many people in each group camped in 2019. It only provided me numbers for those who said they've camped at least once in their lifetime. This isn't a numbers contest. However, the disparity really sheds some light. Black folks don't camp. There are a handful of us sprinkled into the predominantly white American Great Escape. It's discouraging because camping is a true treasure. I really do believe that if you try it, you'll actually like it and would want to take part of it at least once a year, maybe even more. And I'd love to see more people that look like me when I visit state parks, spend a day at the lake, go for a hike, explore the national monuments. There are so many wonderful outdoor activities that allow us to escape the busy life of the city. Probably the best sounds that you could ever hear, the relaxing and soothing river flowing just down the hill from where you camp and connecting to a beautiful waterfall. The singing of wild birds, one in a tree to the left chatted up with another in a tree to the right. And my personal favorite, the crackling coming from the wood burning at the campfire while I lay back and look up in amazement at the wide open view of the nighttime sky full of bright twinkling stars. Call me corny if you want, but it's one of the coolest things ever to pass the time. Nature puts me in the most positive vibe I can be. May not be for everyone, but again, I feel like if you try it, you'll find that you'll actually like it. And then maybe these low Black people camping numbers will trend upward. If you are intrigued and want to get out there more, there are some organizations and annual events I'm aware of that cater to Black campers. Not that I just want you to focus your energy or to separate yourself to just Black people camping. We are all equal here. I get that, but it's important to be able to identify and relate. The National African American RVers Association, they have member chapters all throughout the U.S. and put together meetups for RV owners. Outdoor Afro, which organizes local groups who not only want to camp, but do just about anything outdoors, hiking, water activities, exploring museums. I met up once with a local group here in Phoenix and spent the day at a city garden. And something new for 2021 that I heard about is an upcoming gathering that is called Black Camp Con, taking place in Pahrump, Nevada, which for me was really exciting to find out about because there are not very many groups of Black campers here on the West Coast, at least not too many that are well known and that have large events. Usually those type of gatherings are taking place down in the southern states, and I've yet to travel cross country to check out any of those. So it was cool to hear that there's something coming up on the West Coast. It's in May. You can go to Facebook and find out more details about Black Camp Con. As I mentioned earlier, I am part of a Facebook group that last time I checked had about 7,500 or so members. Actually, there are several groups that I know of, with each of them having thousands of their own members, but I am sure that some of the same people are members of the other groups as well. So that number may be kind of a duplication. But even if you add all of those groups up, it's still a small number, smaller than any other ethnic group, which we can work together and grow that if we wanted to, help create more awareness and unity within the Black camper community. I'm going to share one more statistic that I thought was really interesting and gives me hope on a larger demographic in the future. Millennials are currently the largest group of campers, with Blacks accounting for 64% representation. That's pretty cool. Tells me there's some good things to come. My final thoughts, no matter your age, regardless of where you live, regardless of your skill set, and despite your fears and the excuses that we have all made about whatever the thing is that you've always said you want to do, but just haven't taken the leap to getting it done, get up, get out, and get you some. Get you some of this beet juice too. You'll be glad you did. This is Big Man, Tiny Kingdom.